All right, I'm gonna get the walnut to mill down. Oh no. Looks like we have powder post beetles. That's not good. See that? And then the white. That's a problem. Oh wow, a lot. We'll have to cut the sapwood off and see how much of it I can salvage. Here we go. My sister-in-law means the world to me. When I married my wife, I didn't just gain a wife, I gained a sister. And over the years, we've become close. She's in a different country, and there's not much I can do except be there for her when I can, but I can make something with my hands. And when you make something instead of buying it, it means something different. It says, I see you, I value you. You matter enough that I'm gonna spend time and focus and care on something just for you. So I'm gonna make her a box, not just any box, a box she can hold something precious in. The best place to start making a box is making one for someone you love. So I bought that walnut from a friend. He had been air drying it for a couple years and it looked pretty clean when I got it. But now sitting back there, I see we have powder post beetles. I was really excited to upgrade my blades on this planer to helical blades because these keepsake boxes are much more delicate and so the finish is really important. And I think this is the right choice. It was a close call. Milled all the walnut down, looks pretty clean now. I'm a little paranoid about the little holes, but those aren't actually powder post beetles, but we have some clean boards to work with now, so I'm really excited to dive in. A lot of things we build revolve around the idea of making a box. A cabinet's a box, a table's a box, a dresser's a box, and on and on and on. Even a chair is part of a box. And so if you can learn to make good boxes, especially for someone you love, you'll be on your way to being an advanced woodworker in no time. And I wanted to do box joints or finger joints on one of them, and I was using this box joint jig. And it's been a while since I've used it, so it definitely could be user error. But I was going through doing my test piece, and all of a sudden, I hit my brake on my saw stop. I didn't touch any of my skin. I don't know what it touched. The metal was far away from it. It was the first saw stop I ever got. It did the same thing with a different jig. So I'm gonna be moving on to a different style box joint jig, but thank God for saw stop. Need a new blade and a new brake now. Box joints have given me trouble when I started woodworking. I've failed at them before, but this time I found a simpler jig and I'm gonna give them another shot because this box deserves clean joinery and also because I need to know I can do this. I don't want the sawdust to get caught underneath so it cuts it uneven. Any company out there that has dust collection, hit me up. This is ridiculous. If box joints scare you, don't use them. Pick the joint that matches your skill level right now. Master that, and then move on to the next one. So I'm gonna be using a bit to cut a groove or a dado in the top and bottom so that I can put a walnut plywood on this box. Even though it's a box joint, it still moves because they're not super tight. And so I wanna make sure it holds its form as I run it through the router table. Well, 33 1/28, 5 and 15/16. I don't really enjoy doing this part, but part of my goal as a woodworker is mastery. And if I don't make these extra steps to where, there's no glue squeeze out when the customer or whoever I'm making this for gets it, it just looks more professional. And so I find these steps to be annoying but necessary, and so I do them. It's these extra details that actually matter. There we go. This is where clamps could help or it could break it. See you tomorrow. Looks pretty square. I'm taping it to keep it together when I make the final cut so that it doesn't go flying. So simple, right? Like I mentioned before, this is well worth it. Got a little bit of glue in there. I see it wet. It comes right up because I pre-finished it. I can scrape that right out. I was really struggling to get these thin pieces of walnut down to size. I was either taking too much off or not enough. And I remembered about making a shooting board. I'm not really a hand tool guy, but I knew it was a way to get really accurate square cuts on the edges of small pieces. I'm I'm drilling holes to set up for the install of the button latch. I've never used one of these before, but I do know precision is mandatory. I recommend when you're sanding boxes that you build yourself a sanding station. I use melamine because it was flat and some spray-on adhesive on the back of the sandpaper and on the board. I do 3 different grits, a low, medium, high. I sand using circles and figure eights to mimic a random orbit sander. That way it keeps your box square and flat. Here's the plan. I'm about to put hinges on this box. I need to clamp the lid tightly to the box, and that way we can lay out our hinge lines before I route them out. It's important that I get this layout right or the box won't close correctly. I always have to challenge myself on every build. This time it's new hinges and a new latch. Things I've never used before. I feel like it keeps me sharp. It also keeps me interested, and it makes the box better than it would have been if I played it safe. Kind of okay here. It's that, the turns that are hard. When I'm installing hinges, especially in hardwood, I like to use a couple key things. One, a Vicks bit, so that when I preset a hole, it sets it center right down through the hole of the hinge. 2, paste wax, so when I'm driving my screws in, they have a little bit of lubricant goes in and it won't crack the wood. And then last, a screwdriver that's the right size. I like to hand screw in the screws, 1, because the screws are delicate, especially on hinges this small, but also it doesn't over crank it and make the wood split. Wow, that is so cool. Building this box changed how I see woodworking because every decision mattered. Someone I love is going to put precious things in this box for the rest of her life, and maybe even longer. That's when I realized woodworking isn't a hobby. It's how I leave a part of myself behind. Now that I've built this box for my sister-in-law, I think it's time to build boxes for the rest of my in-laws. Try picking someone you love to build for. Just start there This is where mastery begins. If you want to see a build that almost broke me, click here.